This is day 660 of Arukh HaShulchan. This week's Arukh HaShulchan is sponsored for schools for Bani Chaim Mizone for Jonas and Ezra Ben Chana Feigl. If you would like to sponsor the upcoming Shir more of Arukh HaShulchan, please call me directly. It'd be greatly appreciated. They're doing Shin Sadik Beis Gimel to Shin Sadik Beis Yud. Gimel. Shem Chachamim. Mishnah. We are taught in Mishnah. Ir shel Yachid, Natzeh shel Rabin. So you had a city of a private individual initially, and then it became belongs to masses. Meaning it became by the masses. Marmis could below Shir can do an air entire thing without leaving anything over. As Arukh HaShulchan said, it's really not okay, but it's not that. This is when it has a wall around. There are many openings in the wall. Because in the city, which is small enough that it's your shayachid, not going to got the main mistake. It's like Yisrael to not realize there's an Yisrael Tzah. Have Yisrael Rabin, but a city of many. Even if it came afterwards, it's your shayachid. The reverse of what we just said. You can't make it there without leaving something out. And specifically, when the wall around it has two openings, it makes them foolish, or from either from east to west or from north to south. Since it has two openings where you come in one and go out the other, it looks like it's going to make a mistake. But if the whole wall is only one opening, there's no need to leave anything over it. Not going to make a mistake. Everybody sees the entire city is like one chatzar. What is the shir which you need? I feel even one house and 1 yard. From which they won't carry to the city. That automatically is a hecker. And the entire city can join together. And all permitted carrying the entire city. Except for that place which was left out. You are there are many houses and yards in the shir. They can make their own eruv through the openings among them. And they carry by them from yard to yard through the openings which are between them, but they can't carry the rest of the city. And some of the people say you are both in the entire city and not by them. This takana mishum nehekek. They should do sha'er. It's interesting. Or should already be the beginning of Simmons said it's not relevant bisman hazeh, and then he goes to the halachas afterwards. We don't expect him to say at the end of the Simmons it's not relevant bisman hazeh. Okay, but Takonas there was a shum hecker. All this because a hecker. Kadeshi dusha eruv ma'itilim li'atal beer. So you know it's so tafka an eruv which allows him to carry the city. Zeh shakobokim ba, in which so many people are coming through. Farayel is zeh shamokim shishar v'nishtati v'moem, and the evidence for that is that remaining place which they join with them. And matali menu you can't carry from it. El elam matali natzim elam latzim, but each eruv, so to speak. Carries, not just so to speak, each Arab carries on their own and not across the line. They want to make an Arab each street by itself. It certainly works. There's no greater remainder than that. So you can't take from street to street. In that case, they have to make two pasin of 2 mashus if there's a width of 10 amos, or up to 10 amos, really. But more than 10, you need a source of beser. I forgot the mavi daiva lechikora. Even though normally a mavi it's enough to have a lechikora, zel be yoshesh barak mivos ushusarabim. That's the sea which only has streets and ushusarabim. Avir kosem kazu mukavas chama. But this such a city which is surrounded by a wall, should be close to a kula where you could have made an area of all of it. Have a kula chatzar achas. It's all like one chatzar, but the chatzar tzarich shtei pasim. The chatzar requires 2 pasim. That would show that more than 10 cards is a pesach. This is not specifically relevant to this case. The B'yasem Yud, if it's more than 10 gam a mavi, tzuras pesach, you do also mavi requires tzuras pesach. The Mishnah Bir Halacha in the previous halacha says that it's not when you're Mashayir, it has to be a bias with a chotzer, but a bias by itself is not enough of a shear. Arukh HaShulchan seems to hold the same way because it differentiates. Mishra says that the Achronim say that this Ramah, which you just mentioned about the two passing, is not going to halacha if he wants to make mavi each one separately, because then Lechi Yakora at the end of mavi would definitely be sufficient. Right? It's cool talking about the prior halacha in the mavi itself, where you have the house and the chutzah, which are the remnants, right? Then there too, you have to leave. You have to there. You need to pass him in order to separate that house and chutzah from the rest of the mavi, so it should be a proper shear. The brackets he says here. The Rashi Piresh is Rakbir Shayachid Shuglios Echad Shimbarmes Kula. This is only about a city of individual where they all were one and they're ma'ariv the entire thing. Because of Zeh Shel Rabim. Why how to write this in a city of Rabim? Ayin Shamnili, remember Tiksha Taisa Shamdir Masa Mavi Arashi Mihoda Asa Lechi Lechatzi Mavi. So may Lechi for half Mavi, there's Chatzi Hutar Ava Gab Shugul Biyachan. Even though previously they all carried together, and Sham, the Mishal Rabim also works that way. The Imam Rakichim Arva Kula B'Shior Dinaka Chatzer. If you can make an Erev in all of it, so then its din is like a Chatzer. Mashal Hedi Me'arash V'Tush Chasla Al Shior Kain Ayin Sham, which is what the Mishabura was alluding to. Mash Chasla Me'avam the Zelk Shir Be'emtza Mavoi the Le'edana Minale. I don't know how do you know they talk about in the middle of the Mavli. Again, that's the tzir of the Mishnah Berurah. For Rashi Rashi says because it's talking about a Mavi by itself, Nemar B'Gemara Al Shel Yachid. And there it's talking about individuals Mavli. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what we got out of that, but I guess we got out of this the Arukh HaShulchan Shita that we're talking about not just about the shear needing two passing, but every mavi in the city requires two passing. It's supposed to Lechi Akara. That we say since it says you don't require a remainder by a mavi shel rabim. Only when you don't need it except when the wall has two openings. But it's the only one being low boy shear. You don't need a remainder. According to this, the Sulam Torah's Pesach law that a ladder has the status of an opening. We could say the mitzad ear, and one side city yesh Pesach there's an opening. Mitzad sheni Sulam, and the other side there's a ladder rochav arba 421 mikam sum rochav arba mever sheni, and a ladder 421 on the other side. The hava b'shnei psalim, it should be like two openings. It's a shear. Requires a remainder. Okay, it's not like that. When he's bar sham, so I mean clarify there. The rak lahakol have a love Torah's Pesach. Only to be maker we say ladders are a Pesach. Lo achmir not to be machmir. I feel that means Lamas Harbi. If you put lots of ladders next to each other, at Rochav Asar Yosef, up to 10 amos and more, Lochashi Kapesach, it's not considered an opening. Don't need a shear. That's why front steps of a house, which are a 45-degree angle, very often, not always, but very often, and if they are 10 fucking high, they're a wall. You don't need an additional wall there because we only said that this is a Pesach, Lohakel, not Lohachmir. Shear don't require a shear in this because it really only has one opening in that city. Also, there's two openings. So but in one opening there's a garbage heap in front of it, which is 10 fucking high. This time it's like the opening has been closed. Shear doesn't require a remainder. Even the garbage dump is of one person. private. Because she's not the mikan. Now we're afraid it's going to be taken away. Nevertheless, pekan. Shear for this halacha of shear to have a chashash b'alma, which is a very remote concern. Hucha below shear should cause mashames will be permitted without any remainder as long as it's still standing. If they take it away, that's a shear. Then they'll make the shear. Or after they came into hucha, or maybe even once we became mutter, even taken away. There's no change in the walls. And for this gezerah, we're not going to be machner, which is an interesting idea. Sharatian says it should be ashba, which is 10 fucking high. Mishabura says only ashba sharabim, not an ashba shal yachid. And the Mishabura says if they have to, they take it away. No good. You have to make a new ashba. Zayin, habatim sheminichim asam l'shir, the house which they leave to remain after shem please chem here, even though the openings don't open to the city, el achreim la'ir, rather their back sides to the city, pnei mechutzer, and the front sides are outside the city. Nevertheless, it's a shir. Va'afil shem shayim rak ba'is achad, and if you leave one house, you buy for nazeh have a shir, and since opening is to the outside, it's a maybe it doesn't need a chutz. Even according to Mishmur, maybe it doesn't need a chutz because it's open to outside the city. Not sure. Maybe it does. Because it's an opening. Have a shear. I feel it ain't a bias deer, even if it's not a house for dwelling. El base a bakar base and it's used for cattle or for hay storage. And so which doesn't require an air. Mostly associated. Nevertheless, it could be like the designated driver, the designated hitter in baseball, the designated outside the Erev. Marvin's called here, and you can make Arab the entire city. Nation of Chachamim Tzivu Zeh Rak LeHeker Ba'alma. So for Heker, Vikil Bechos Abayis, they were leaning past the quality of the house involved. The Heker Daibe is a Bayishu. For Heker, it's enough to have some house. Miudavka Kshish Lechotzer, but only if it has a chot. Oh no, here it is. When the Bishop said here earlier, it's the only house Sheish Lechotzer. The Bayis Lechotzer Lav Kumu. House on Chotzer is nothing. We'll have a Heker cloud. Okay, which for some reason he brought that earlier from the Mishnah Berurah. Okay. Ches. Yeshua in the Shir Lios Raki Bati Yisrael. It's got to be Jewish houses. Vaswar Kenu makes sense. The Loken Lav Hekeru. Not it's not Heker, but Mashi'ilu Elu Lo Yitaltlu Tocha Yirkum. If the non-Jews don't carry into the city. Version Mahani. Some say works of an even non-Jew's house. Usharim Avur Kader Rishona. Usharim holds the first opinion. Tzarech Lamad Hekeru B'Meshim Le'er Lo Yitaltlu L'Sham. And the Heker is that people in the city won't carry there. If the shear is from a Jewish home, the Heker is not going to ask the rest of the cities. She's bar the shear mavi, like a small wall, which is going to be clarified when we talk about the shear of a mavi. Or to a special to pasim obviously works the same way. In Medina, it says in brackets, an ear, city. She started for Kol Yishvei everywhere during the Erev Chutzim Mavi Echad, except for one Mavi. Hareza also Kulam Nasus and everybody. V'imbonim at Seva, which is in brackets a mechitza, a wall. Al Pesa Mavi Ein Oser Leim, they can wall it off. If we don't make a city Erev in halves, El Okula, or either all of it, or Mavi, or street by street. Uvone Kom Mavi Matseva Al Pisol, and each and every Mavi builds a wall on its opening. In Ratzal Achlok Rishus man who wants to separate from the rest of the Mavos. Kadei Shalo Yesar Sharavos, so it shouldn't answer in the other streets. If you make it in halves, it even doesn't work even with the wall. Malcolm Jesus Rabim, this wall does not work if people are walking back and forth. It's like, even though the Mavi doesn't require anything, that's where the entire city is Mavos, and the Shuswam inside the city, it's not surrounded by a wall. But the city which is surrounded by a wall, if you it's all like 1 yard, every Mavi answers the other one. So if you have to have a chutzner out of the Mavi, out of the Erev. Therefore, you need a light fence. To show it is set off the votes. Perhaps so the standard 2 passing the peso is also effective. But I can't, certainly that way. V'agmar v'Rambam Rabusa nokta matzeva. When they said matzeva, it's a chiddush. The Iraq mechitza kalish abret tefachim because it's not 10 tefachim high. It's only 4 tefachim high. A gambur bari for rosh. Koshken the pasay asor tefachim. So certainly a passing which are 10 tefachim high. Mahani the work after having mashu, even though the thickness is a mashu. The Mishnah Berurah says that many Achronim agreed that's enough. That's 4 tefachim. Or Zerua says it has to be wide for 4 tefachim wide as well. The Rabbi says the Avodah Kodesh 3 tefachim high and 4 tefachim wide is good enough. However, if the open entry space is more than amos, you need a wall which is going to be 10 tefachim high, or a tzuras haPesach. But no, the Gra seems to say that even in such case, 4 tefachim high wall works. Doesn't mention any difference between individual city of the masses when you do make the air by the remainder. So that's the Beis Yosef writes. According to this, that was basically right. Beis Yosef writes Steve Tal. Seeing which all the inhabitants participated in, except for one mavi. Reza Osakum, and says all of them. I mean, created this short wall in front of the opening of the mavi, and Osalim doesn't ask on the rest. Therefore, say which was the property of one individual. That's the Rabbi became a city of the masses. You don't make an air for halves, either its entirety or street by street. That's Rambam. That's Rambam. But who required the Beis Yosef to act the language of the Rambam? That it's all about a city of a Yachid. Rambam doesn't mention that at all. But God mean so the Tur doesn't seem to be the case. God made time over. Those doesn't seem to be any rationale for it. Nearly Gam Rabbeinu Beis Yosef ain't coming us el attacking a lashon. Beis Yosef only has in mind to fix the way it's phrased. That which it says don't make air in half. Shari tzrichim also shear because you have to have a remainder of ain't shear and there's no measure of shear to the shear. There's no measure to the remainder. And they're compelled to separate. Therefore, he's fixed that this is a year sheyachid. Even if it became year sharabim, it says the same halacha. Without the shear, without the remainder, everything is the same halacha. It has to be that the shear also requires a heker. I'm not sure how the Arukh HaShulchan resolved this issue, the Beis Yosef, frankly. You say, okay, it's a technical thing, right? And since a big city, there's always going to be a shear, so it looks like it's Marav Chatzoin. You can't be Marav Chatzoin. So he says, no, that which can be Marav Chatzoin is the rest of the city besides the shear. Okay.